Welcome back to the Clydesdale Media Weight Loss Show. My name is Scott Schweitzer. I am the Clydesdale, and I have with me my nutrition coach, Cheryl Nasso. This is our journey for me to lose 100 pounds by the 2023 CrossFit Games. And my deal with this show is that I give up control to my nutrition coach, Cheryl Nasso, who we do a live check-in every week to kind of document the process to that goal. So with that, I will turn it over to Cheryl.
Love it. So one of the big things I want to start with is, guys, with the check-in process. Scott does have a check-in day, and I do try and keep my work to my work days. And so he does fill in his check-in form every single week, which has been awesome for me to see that he is consistent with that. Like, again, which is awesome for me to give him the feedback. So he does get a formal check-in on Thursdays, but I save a lot of the details, the juicy stuff for you guys. I'm usually like, we'll go over this more on Saturday when we get to go live. So this week, I feel like we had some big breakthroughs in terms of your health, and I know that you want to share. So I'm going to open up the floor to you to start by going over a couple of things that you experienced this week. Good things.
So the first and foremost, we got a scale that works, and I'm getting accurate data back from that. It was a weird start point to that, but it's now consistently showing data in the same range, which has been a load off my mind. The second thing is I had my checkup with my doctor on Thursday, and in that checkup, my blood pressure because I've been without blood pressure medicine for 2 weeks, and during that, I checked in at 120/80 on my blood pressure on Thursday, and my doctor goes, "Well, it looks like we don't need medicine anymore. So we are going to take away your blood pressure medicine, and we're going to do a follow-up in 3 months and make sure everything's in good shape. If you keep doing what you're doing, all of this will be good." So the only medicines I'm on now are allergy medicines.
That's awesome. I don't know why, as you're talking, I'm getting like teary-eyed right now. And maybe it's just been an emotional morning for me, but I think that people focus so much on the wins on the weight, right? And like, guys, like medications are expensive, but it's also like having to rely on medications to be healthy, to like be able to function, to be able to make sure that you're not going to have a heart problem. Like, these are bigger things that people don't understand that change when you actually take control and you say, I'm going to make changes. I did not do that for Scott. I did not do that. You did that. Every change you're making on this journey is giving you those things back, giving you an opportunity to make those changes. And this goes for people, in a serious, a lot of the people that I deal with like diabetics is a big thing. That stuff is so expensive and so bad for the body, right? I'm just so happy that all of these things are coming together. And that's really where I just want to stop for a second and be like, be freaking proud of yourself, because it's not easy. Do you know how many people out there struggle with making the changes that you're making right now? In fact, I know a guy right now who's watching live, LDY. Okay. I know he's struggling with making changes. And I know he wants what you have right now. And I know you can give that to him. You just got to do the work. So just had to say that.
So first of all, thank you, LDY. I have to say, this is the first week where I looked in the mirror and said, you know what? My face is thinner. And I had to go back and edit a video that I had done, an interview a few months ago. And my face in that video compared to now is completely different. It was shocking.
Yeah. You do look slimmer. Even when I saw your picture that you sent me last week from your wedding, I was like, oh, he's looking really good. Like, I said, you have a good glow. Like, and it's cool when people start to notice that kinds of stuff. And you're not gonna, you're not gonna walk up to somebody and be like, hi, I'm Scott and I weigh 300 pounds. You're never gonna say that to somebody, right? They're gonna see you and they're gonna go, man, I look really good. You look really good, dude. What have you been doing? And that's like sometimes uncomfortable, but sometimes it's awesome. That's what we want. We want to have tangibles. So, and the scale is moving again. So we did have a couple of bumps this week as well. So I wanted to kind of address Well, we won't talk about Thursday yet. We could talk about Thursday. I don't even know what happened Thursday. It wasn't even a bad day, but just I know you had some different foods, which is awesome. But I know that you had a little back twinge this week, and I want to talk to you and touch on that.
So yeah, Tuesday. So we started a squat cycle on Monday. Super sore because we had not really back squatted in a long time. And went in Tuesday, and in the Metcon were high rep, low weight deadlifts. And about halfway through my second set, I I was trying to rest at the top, and I overextended, and I felt a twinge in my lower back, not where it was hurt before, but the other side.
Mhm.
So my right side is where I've had all the procedures done. This was the left side.
Yeah.
And I I finished the set without probably me extending at the top totally. And then I actually finished the workout. Probably should have stopped, but I finished the workout, and then I felt it later in the day get kind of worse and worse. I tried to keep moving all week. I tried to get on the bike, and I did. And I actually did do that. And today I actually have no pain in my lower back unless I really hinge to like tie my shoe or try to touch my toes. But I can air squat. I can do a lot of stuff that I wasn't able to do a couple days ago. And I think by Monday, I can ease back into the actual workouts again instead of just moving, just being cautious with any kind of hinging movement.
Mhm. So the main thing is like, obviously I do Scott's nutrition coaching, but I also, as a coach, want to always I like to help people out. And a lot of times what you'll see happen is when we have an injury on one side, our other side tends to compensate for the weakness in the injured side, right? So like this is where a lot of CrossFit athletes now have, in the beginning of CrossFit, it was this big thing like, oh, we don't do bodybuilding, we do functional movements, we don't do that stuff. And now what you see is that a lot of CrossFit athletes have recognized that, well, that's great if you're really good at moving really, really well. But we also have found that we all have muscle imbalances and deficiencies. And so for you, I would really recommend working on single leg work just to make sure you are aware of the weakness in discrepancy or the discrepancy in your strength from your left to your right, because often that's why that happens. And I know this because it's happened to me. Why did my left shoulder get injured last year? Because it was overcompensating when my right shoulder was hurt. Why is my left glute a little bit more having issues? Because my right leg was injured at one point. So we always have to be aware of those things, and you're doing all the right things. I think the main thing for me is, and this is our journey, and we're talking about pretty open forum here, is you've been through some rough patches in your journey, depression, anxiety, lack of motivation. You went through a very long time where you didn't even go to the gym. And I think that what was really cool was this week is you were aware of how you respond to these things, these setbacks. And you put up a wall and you said, I know what I've done before. I'm going to approach this differently this time. And that was the right thing to do. That you said, I'm just going to move. I'm just going to keep moving. I'm going to keep going through. And once again, this is another thing that a lot of people struggle with. They struggle with this, if I'm injured, I just got to not go to the gym. No, like that's the wrong thing to do, because it's not the gym, it's not the workout that matters. It's the habit that matters. And even if you have to scale and you're doing ring rows and freaking dumbbell bench press or strict press, you're doing something to keep yourself into that routine and keeping yourself getting the positive effects of getting that daily movement in. So I'm really proud of you for doing that. And I wanted to make that out there as well, that you did a good job of navigating this week.
Well, and I think what when it happened before, like it took 8 procedures to get my back right. So it was a constant struggle. Going through this week, there were a lot of things I could still do.
Yeah.
If I was in a strong position, because I've been doing a lot of core work. We do a lot of bodybuilding at CrossFit Polaris.
Mhm.
And so like I could still do ring rows. I could still do push-ups. 2 days in, I could do almost a full air squat. There were things I could do to keep moving, and the bike didn't hurt at all, right? So I could hop on the bike for an hour if I wanted to and just go and go and go and kind of zone out. So I think that also gave me confidence during this, that I was too afraid to seek out in my prior attempts.
Yeah. And I'm really happy for you for that. The rest of the week looked pretty solid. Fill me in a little bit on Thursday. Things were a little different on Thursday. I'm just curious what Thursday was like.
Okay. So I had an early morning doctor's appointment, and that's where I got all the good news.
Yep.
But it really threw my schedule off for the day in eating, because I couldn't eat before I went. And by the time I got home, I had to jump into work and get some stuff done, because I do still have a day job that I have to do on top of all this other stuff. And I didn't really notice it as it was going, but at the end of the day, after dinner, I still had like 1,500 calories left. And I was like, well, shoot, how am I going to get this done and play the Tetris
Yep.
macro game?
Yep.
So it, it just got, I don't know what happened. I was starving. First of all, I mean, I was starving. My Chicago Bears were playing on Thursday night, and there was this ad for Wingstop, which is probably my biggest temptation in the world. And they have these new wing sandwiches, which
Oh,
are like chicken breast on a bun. And I was like, I've got to try that. And that's what happened.
yeah. So I love it. And guys, this is where it comes down to when you are on a weight loss journey. I and that's why I wanted to touch on this, is because it looked like it was more like a fun night type of a thing. Is when you guys are on a weight loss journey, you cannot approach your journey as if you are a slave to the weight loss. Meaning, no, I can't do that. I'm on a diet. Okay. And because if you don't incorporate those things into the plan while you're on the weight loss journey, how is it going to ever work for you to maintain? And I always will, and this is like my biggest thing is, obviously I make a lot of posts on social media about fat loss and weight loss. I know that's what a lot of people are looking for, but the goal really isn't to lose weight. The goal is to live lean. The goal isn't to lose weight. The goal is to get to a place where I can live and maintain my life in the body that I want to have forever. And that's where you're going to want to sometimes have a fried chicken sandwich. And guess what? You deserve that just like I deserve that. You don't have to wait until you get to that goal weight to be able to incorporate those things. It's just knowing how they fit into the plan, and that your expectations the next morning aren't like, am I going to be down 2 pounds? No, it's like, I enjoyed myself last night. I had an amazing dinner and I am moving on. No guilt, no stress, no nothing. It's literally one night, one meal, moving on. And that's where I
And
wanted to kind of put that out there.
as hard as it was, because it was hard, it's hard to not feel guilty after that. One, I was sick as a dog all night.
Yep, I get
Sick
this
as
too.
a dog. Like my stomach hurt so bad in the middle of the night. I was like, why did I do this to myself?
Yeah.
But it was delicious going down. I'm not gonna lie. It was amazing.
It's funny because
But
I have
the
I have
next
go ahead. Yeah.
but the next day, it made it so, because I was so sick from it, it made it so easy to get right back on the horse
Yeah.
Friday morning and kill it yesterday.
It's funny, I have a client and she's on a vacation this weekend. I'm gonna tell her I mentioned her today. And she's really transitioned her diet a lot. She was really relying on a lot of like, she likes the French fries, she likes the barbecue, the really heavy meals and strombolis, and she's cut a lot of that out. Like she doesn't eat it at all really. And I was like, listen, this weekend I know you're gonna be out of town, but it doesn't mean that every single meal has to be like that. She goes, Cheryl, I cannot eat that way every meal. She's like, because it makes me feel so sick. And she's like, I might have, one thing, but I can't eat like that anymore. It just makes me feel sick for days. So, and that's, obviously, guys, your food should not make you feel sick. It's saying something to you if you're like, whoa, my body's a little bit unhappy with this right now about what we're actually taking in. So, but I think that's why I wanted to ask about that. That was the only other real thing I had, because I know the main thing for you was the blood pressure medication. Your gym workouts, honestly, considering with your back injury, have been good. The only other thing to really touch on is how has your mobility been going?
So, of course, the little bit of setback in my mobility a little bit, although I'm doing it more because it makes me feel better, my range of motion is definitely not where it was a week ago,
Yeah. Yeah.
but we're getting there.
Good. Good, good,
I
good.
d I do wanna say, and I just lost my train of thought.
We were talking mobility, and then you said, "I do wanna
It
say."
was a subject before I wanted to, follow up on, but it's okay, we'll move on.
Oh, I
Mobility, it's going well.
it was we were talking about eating
The
foods that
heavy foods but it doesn't matter. I'm I'm yeah. Anyway, mobility's going well. I'm doing it more often because it does help relieve my back. It helps me sleep better at night, to get that loosened up before I get into bed. But and as of today, like, honestly, I feel great. I can walk around without pain. I can get up out of a squat without pain. And I think the big thing that scared me is my legs were so freaking sore from the squat cycle, and then the back was hurt. But I think the soreness from the squat cycle was amplifying it to a
yeah,
level that it may not have been.
that's a very possibility. You know what I've been experiencing lately? I'm gonna bring this about me now is I don't ever get this. All of a sudden, Hinshaw's got us on this miserable. It's not miserable. It's actually pretty fun. It's always fun, right? It hurts in the moment. We're doing a bike erg cycle right now. Getting a 5K bike erg time trial. And lately, what I've been getting is serious lactic acid buildup in my quads and like right above my knee to where I literally cannot squat at all without it's weird. I've never had that before. I'm like, what am I doing differently all of a sudden on this bike erg? So a little tangent for you guys. Anybody wants to give me advice on what I'm doing wrong with my freaking bike erg cycle or bike erg, I would love to know because I've never experienced that before. So on anything, I've never had that where it lingers like all day. Like yesterday, I couldn't squat in the afternoon. So, but yeah. So okay, this week we do have some things to cover. One more thing we go on is this weekend is the Masters Fitness Collective, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So we are also going into your first like travel-ish weekend, which is good for us to practice because we know that that's kind of what broke the cycle for us a year ago, right? So intentions are always the most important thing to establish. Obviously, I'm not sure if we're going to be still doing this on that day or if we're going to be holding off until whatever. We have to figure that out. But what is your intent? I know you're driving. Are you packing food? Like I know you're judging, correct? So like what is your self-care priorities for this coming weekend?
So I was thinking about that last night, actually. Crazy. Making like a I have that protein oatmeal pudding kind of thing before bed, but that's a great snack and it's kind of balanced. So I thought about making like Ziploc bags of the mixture that and then take a bowl with me because I don't have to heat it up and I could take some fruit with me to put in there, like a pack of blueberries or whatever, and then make that up at the event if I need to. Just put it in my backpack and with a bowl and be able to make that up cold and I'd be satisfied so that I'm not missing meals during the day.
Have you ever done like the overnight oats?
I'm not a fan of the overnight oats.
Because I was gonna say that might have been something that you could do with that too. But that's, the other thing is like thinking about foods that actually feel so one of my favorite things to do for events, guys, for people is to take your typical meals and think more like snacks, but are like meals, right? So like I think like bento box style, like deli turkey, some cheese, and some like whole grain crackers and some fruit. Because now you have this thing and you don't have to eat it all at once. You can kind of snack on it throughout the day. Some turkey jerky and some fruit, those are all things that you can actually plug into your day, and you don't have to actually eat them all at the same time or at that specific time. You can just kind of snack on them throughout the day and still have that. But that would be a great way for you to start your morning. For most people, the carbs and the fats are going to be easy to find in a venue, but it's really the protein. So always make sure that you're starting your morning with a solid protein. I'm not sure if your hotel has like a breakfast or not, but if you can go downstairs and get a quick breakfast, if not, like that's where having your protein and oats might be the best thing to start your day with, is starting off with that. That's
Yeah, my biggest issue is always during the day,
yeah,
having something like in my backpack that I can make up on a break.
yeah.
Um,
And once again, the other thing is that the cool thing about events, if people realize this too, and I was traveling this week, and if you realize that, I don't want people to think that I'm telling them to undereat, but if you focus on getting your protein in routinely throughout the day, right? Like you're just focusing on the proteins and you have carbs and fats left over, guess what that also allows? Less stress about picking a meal at a restaurant if you are going out with friends. Because now you know you have a lot of calories and you're like, okay, I know I have to get 30 or 40 grams of protein because that's about what I have left for the day, but I have plenty of the other foods left over to kind of balance those out. And that also makes you feel a little bit more like you can enjoy yourself. So it's because you're probably not, even when you're that busy, you know you don't have a lot of time to eat. It actually makes it less stressful if you think about it like that too.
okay.
So
Yeah. The biggest problem I have right now is I don't know what the hotel offers because that's being provided to us as judges. So I don't know, like they got the room for me. So I don't know if it has a refrigerator or a microwave or any of that stuff.
but you're driving, correct?
Correct.
Pack a full-size cooler, because
Okay.
that's what I do, because even if you don't need all the room, don't worry about it, because then you can put drinks in there for the, like, then you're like, you just have a cooler and you can get ice and you got a cooler and you're good. Like it's not, I think people, when you have a car, it makes it so much easier, because even if you don't have the cooler full, you have plenty of room. So it's like, just put the cooler in there. And then you're like, oh, cool, I got this. You could even bring it with you to the venue, leave it in your car. You want to take a walk out to the car and get your cooler, you can, or you get some things in your cooler, you can. So, but they're probably going to provide a good amount of stuff for you guys. I feel like they're going to take good care of you guys. So, but that was the only other thing I wanted to touch on. So I guess we'll have to figure out, when do you leave Thursday? You leave Thursday, so we probably won't do this until when? You thinking?
Um, yeah, it's probably going to be, probably won't get back till late Sunday night.
Yeah.
So we may miss next week,
Okay.
or have to do a midweek update or a Monday update. I know Mondays are your worst day, but we'll
If we
figure it
do
out.
if we do Monday, we can do Monday evening. If people want to do Monday evening, we can do that. So we can just make it happen, and we'll make it more like a recap of the Masters Collective for you if you wanted to. So,
Okay.
but all right. Well, great job this week. Keep it up. Looking forward to seeing another week of success from you. Anything else to add today?
No, nothing. Thank you all for your support. I know when I posted on Instagram my successes, got so many messages, and thank you so much to everybody who's following this journey. It makes a huge difference having that much support. So thank you so much.
Bye, guys.